Throughout my childhood, I learnt up looking at these two words. I've always been told to fit in. You know, in India, it's weird to be different. People don't appreciate it if you are different. You always have to blend in with the group, blend in with the majority. And my dad's in the army, and because of which I've had to change around 8 schools. And sometimes I'd speak Hindi, sometimes in Tamil Nadu I'd have to speak Tamil. So why would I want to be a rebel? I always just wanted to be, blending in with the crowd. And after my 8th grade, I realized that I wanted to be rich and successful. I come from a middle class background, and I did not want to be driving around in a Maruti 800 when I was my dad's age. So I said, I want to be rich and successful. So people told me, there's only one path you need to walk into if you want to do that. First you do this, and then you do this, and then you'll be successful. So I was like, okay. I was this above average student in school. And when you're above average, there's this thing that your teachers always tell your parents, right? They're like, your son is smart. He just needs to put in a little bit more effort, and he will top the class. So I was like, okay, maybe I'm a hidden genius. Maybe there's an Einstein or a Newton in my head that I'm not willing to discover yet. Okay, I'm smart. I can be rich and successful. Let's go for IIT coaching. So I went for IIT coaching for 2 years, and then I realized that I was not smart enough, or I was not dedicated enough to get into IIT. And then one fine day, school was awesome, right? School was awesome. Every now and then I'd fake a stomachache before my math exam, but culturals were always there to fill that gap up. I would enjoy going to all the culturals and attending all the cultural events. Then after my 12th board exams got over, it was that time when my dad sat me down. He had one of these intense father-son conversations. He looked into my eyes and he said, see, Shyam, I come from a poor background, but I wanted to be an army officer. So I struggled, I followed my passion, and I became an army officer. You have your entire life in front of you now. You have to decide what you want to be. So tell me, Shyam, you have all the choices in the world. Tell me, what kind of engineering do you want to do? So I was like, okay. I was also just going with the flow. And you know, when you're in India, and if you're considered a smart person, you'd obviously want to take up science and engineering, because arts is for dumb people, right? Like only kids who are not smart take up arts. So I was like, okay, Dad, I'll be an engineer. I'm smart. Got into engineering. The biggest mistake of my life. First day of college, I hated it. I was like, okay, I have no idea why I'm here. I looked at all these people. I was like, what am I going to do? Dad, I want to drop out. He said, go back. I paid 4 lakhs donation. I said, okay, I'll go back. I struggled with college. 2 years of college was horrible. I hated going to college because I don't know what's up with these engineering colleges. Like nobody comes up with the idea that let's make a college in the heart of the city. No. You want to make the poor kids travel for 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the evening back home. So my college was in this place called Sri And after I started hating going back to college, I'd come home every day, cry to my mom. I told my parents, I'm going to commit suicide. Then I'd come up with creative excuses. I'd be like, Ma, you know, Rajiv Gandhi, he went to Sri once, he got killed. But they wouldn't listen. So I did something that a lot of people do. I started reading self-help books. So, and most of the books tell you one thing. They're like, follow your passion. But here I was in 2nd year of engineering, looking at everybody who's like, dude, we need to study for GRE, man. We need to, I want to get into this university. That's my dream company. And I'm sitting here saying, nah, I don't want to go to college, man. Now I had to figure out what my passion was. I never knew what my passion was because I was Like, nobody wants to be a black sheep here. Nobody wants to be that person who's an odd one out in India. Like, I remember in school, even though I'd only grooved to Govinda songs all day at home, when it came to writing my favorite artist in the slam book, I'd be like, Justin Timberlake, bro. Akon, yo. Eminem. That's what I listen to. You know, like most of us, we make up imaginary girlfriends in like foreign countries when we're in school. Okay, maybe that's just me, but the point is, I had to find my passion, and then something happened. I started thinking about what is that one thing that I would want to do for the rest of my life and still be happy. I went back to this incident in my second grade where I played Charlie Chaplin in this fancy dress competition. And I slipped and fell on stage, and I actually hurt my head, but just then the audience started clapping. And I got up with a big smile on my face, and I got the second prize, and I was all happy. And I realized that performing for somebody and making people laugh was something that I've always wanted to do in my life throughout my childhood. And throughout my school, I was in the theater club there. And the joy of performing on stage, you know, that kind of joy, nothing else can replace that for me. So I said, I'm doing something that I don't like. I've been doing it for 2 years. I need something that I can hold on to just survive engineering. And that's when I decided to start my theater club in college. Me and a group of my friends who were also very creative, very productive, very, you know, performance-oriented, but had been forced by their parents to join engineering. They were like, yeah, bro, let's do this. So we started our theater club, and we put up 2 plays. This was in 2014. We put up these 2 short plays. And after that, for the first time in my college life, I was enjoying college. I would wake up, go to college every day, sit through those 8 hours, just thinking about those 2 hours of rehearsals in the evening. And like, for the first time in my life, I was not trying to be someone else. I was not pretending to be someone else. I was being myself, and people were accepting the kind of person I was being. So that gave me a lot of confidence. And then I started interning at an entertainment collaborative, a theater collaborative called Stray Factory. And after joining them, I wrote my first play. The play was titled To Be E or Not to Be E, which spoke about the frustrations of being in an engineering college when you really didn't want to. And that play won a lot of awards. And then I realized that there are so many people in our country who are engineers, who've done engineering just to figure out that that is not what I want to do. Like, you know, it's become like these 4 years that you spend in a place after your 12th standard just to sit and think what you really want to do with your life. And then we ask ourselves why so many of our engineering graduates are not employable. So this was the play, To Be E or Not to Be E. And after this, something magical happened. One random online ad about Pepsi IPL intern. Pepsi was the sponsor of IPL, and they were taking one guy to Dubai to go hang out with all the stars. And because Dad's been in the army, as I told you guys, my international experiences have always been very different. Like, Dad would often take us to the border, and he'd be like, "Beta, see, that side is Pakistan, this side is India. You know, Shyam, that side is China, this side is India." I've often wondered, looking at a camel on that side of the border, saying, "Oh, a Pakistani camel just looks like an Indian camel. That's amazing." So first time in my life, flying abroad alone, 4 days in Dubai, meeting these cool guys. Virat Kohli. I was trying to do push-ups with Yuvraj Singh. It didn't go that well. So that happened, and 4 days of living the life in Dubai. But I had to go back and do my engineering now. So last day, I'm sitting in the airport, waiting to board my flight, and I'm reading The Alchemist, because I was all getting like philosophical now. I was like, let's understand the meaning of life. So there's this one quote which really stuck with me. It said, if you really want to do something in life, the entire universe will conspire to bringing that to you. And that's when I decided. I said, Shyam, you've never known what you wanted to do for the first 20 years of your life. You don't even know who Justin Timberlake is. And now you finally know what you want. You're enjoying yourself. Just grow a pair and tell your parents that you don't want to go to college, at least for a year, and do what you wanted to do. Just take that leap. And so I went up to my parents and I was like, Ma, I want to drop out. Said, what are you doing with your life? You know, if you drop out, the entire world is gonna look at you and laugh. Then I had an idea. I told my parents, I'm taking a year break. Let me try and do all the things that I wanted to do in this 1 year. And then if you think that I'm not doing that well, I'll go back to college. They did not immediately agree, but a lot of emotional blackmails later, a lot of crying, a lot of fighting. They finally agreed. They said, okay, fine, do whatever you want. You know, that's what your parents tell you, when they're fed up with you. They're like, I cannot argue with you anymore. Do whatever the hell you want. So it's like, do whatever you want. So after my mom told me that the entire world will laugh at you, I realized that one thing that I've always wanted to do in my life was stand-up comedy. So, I wrote a 4-minute set, and I started frequenting open mics. For the first 20 times I went there, not a single person laughed. That's the worst feeling. You know, when you come in and you're like, hey, I'm a funny guy, I'm going to make you laugh. Towards the end, people are just staring at you saying, what? So 20 times coming back home, crying, saying, what are you doing, Shyam? What are you doing? Why can't you be funny? After that, I had my first laugh. For the first time, I made someone laugh at an open mic, and that was the best feeling. And post that, I started doing a lot more shows. This picture is very special to me because all throughout my life, my parents wanted me to get into IIT. And after I dropped out, I went to IIT and performed for these bunch of IITians and made them laugh. My first line when I went up on stage was, Ma, I finally made it, I'm inside IIT now. Then, the first time I'd written to Stray Factory to join them as an intern, I wrote to them saying that I want to be part of a YouTube channel from the South which makes content like the All India Bakchod. And 6 months down the line, after our first video, which got over 1.7 million hits on YouTube, we were there at the YouTube Fan Fest performing with them. So that was a very, very, very special moment. Okay, so 1 year was almost coming to an end now. So my parents were like, now what? And that is when I understood, when I dropped out of college or when I took a break from college, I was like, in this 1 year, I'm going to do something so phenomenal, so amazing that my parents would be like, wow. Then I realized that Indian parents, even if I had won the Academy Awards that year, my mom would still come up to me and be like, degree kab finish kar rahe ho? So they were like, okay, time to go back to college now. Okay, we understand that you don't want to do engineering. Do you want to take up an arts course? That's for dumb people. Do you want to do that job? So, but secretly, I did not want to go back to college. I was in the real world, working with real life problems, working with real people, doing stuff. I was like, no, I want to do something else. And I remember it was a lazy Saturday afternoon when I was at a children's theater workshop, teaching children's theater, wearing shorts and a sweaty t-shirt. And I get a call from the HR of Hindustan Times Media. And she's like, you have an interview in 1 hour. And be ready, all the best. So I didn't have time to go back home and change into my clothes, so I just went like that, wearing shorts and a sweaty t-shirt, walked into the office, and there I see 10 people sitting there in a line with their briefcases, with their ties, with the perfect corporate attire. And I come in panting with this sweaty t-shirt of mine, wearing shorts. Even the watchman was like, we already got water for this week. Like, but I was confident, right? I was like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. So I went there, I went inside, and I never really wanted the job. I was not looking at a job. I was like, I'm just going to go in there and talk to these people, have a nice time. So I remember all of these guys are sitting outside, and I walk in, and I say hi to these guys, and they're like, so what do you do? And I'm like, actually, I do stand-up comedy. And then I get up, and I'm performing for them. That's part of my interview. So I perform stand-up comedy for them, and these guys from outside, they're staring at me saying, what the hell is happening? What is he doing? So they kind of liked me in that interview, and they offered me a job as a producer for writing content. And I was involved in setting up a Bollywood radio station in Chennai, and pretty much brainstorming the show names and deciding what content has to be there on the radio channel. And a while later, they said, you know what, you have a decent voice. Why don't you try being an RJ? So for 3 months, I had to do 30 links every hour. A link is something that comes in between a song when the RJ talks. And initially, the thing about being an RJ is that a lot of people take it as an announcer. You cannot be an announcer and be an RJ. An RJ is a person who's, kind of when you're driving your car and you're listening to the radio, it should feel like he's sitting next to you and talking to you. And a lot of people, when they get into radio, your immediate thing about being an RJ is always to try and copy somebody else who's already an RJ. So for me to crack my style, it took a while. And after 3 months, the first time I remember, it was midnight, 12:30, and they gave me a graveyard shift. They're like, you can go live now. My hands were shivering. I switched on the mic, and I said something, turned down the mic, and I actually got messages. I thought these guys were playing a huge prank on me, making me sit in this room and talk to myself. But people could actually hear me outside, and that's when my journey as an RJ started. And I got to interview some cool people after becoming an RJ. And then I lost a bet, so I did a show just wearing my boxers and my... and then my parents are like, okay, cool, you're an RJ now, but you need to get a degree still. So I said, okay, cool, you know what, I'm not going to be this rebel. You want a degree, I'll join a correspondence course, I'll give you a degree. So someone told me about this magical thing where in India you have this thing called correspondence, where every year you just have to go write your exams and you'll get your degree in 3 years. I'm like, cool, I can do that. So I joined that. And till date, my mom tells me not to tell someone that I'm a college dropout. I don't know, for some reason, she's like, no, just don't say that. Tell them you finished it, okay? Just tell them you finished it. Don't tell them you're a dropout. And even at college functions, when I go there, teachers are kind of like, they're hesitant to introduce me. When they introduce me to their deans and HODs, they're like, he's Shyam Renganathan, he's an RJ, and they're like, which college did you study and what did you finish? And she's like, I'm like, I'm a college dropout. Oh, I was feeling kind of embarrassed to say that. So finally, from being this guy who was kind of ashamed to tell people that, I left college to do something else, it became something that I completely accepted, and it was something that I was kind of proud of. So then a couple of newspaper articles later, my parents were like, okay, cool. I want to leave you guys with this. All throughout our life, we suppress our feelings, we compromise for other people, we don't care about our aspirations, we just want to go with the majority, we want to fit in with the crowd. For once, just try to be yourself, don't try to fit in, and hopefully you'll find yourself. Thank you so much.